Thank you, Madam Speaker. Welcome back to the Chamber. I am pleased today and also displeased to have to rise and speak in opposition to federal proposals which we consider dangerous in respect of tax reforms that would impact significantly on not only Manitoba small and medium enterprises, but also on entrepreneurs across the country who we depend upon to create jobs and grow our economy. We are also opposed, beyond being opposed to the measures specific to the federal government's proposals, opposed to the mechanism of consultation, which was cut off earlier this week, Madam Speaker. The implications of what is being proposed are far-reaching, long-lasting, detrimental in many respects to small businesses across our province and country, disproportionately impact, for example, on the agricultural community and farmers. At this point in time, Madam Speaker, to cut off consultations in the midst of a harvest season is, to me, not demonstrative of understanding the importance of this time of year to many families across our country. And so, for that alone, Madam Speaker, we would ask the federal government to, at the very least, respectfully extend the period of consultation to allow the participation of those impacted to participate. In addition, Madam Speaker, we are strongly opposed to divisive language which has been put on display for the last number of weeks by federal representatives in respect of the small business people impacted by these proposals. They have insistently used language such as tax evasion. They have used language like loopholes. As soon as one is, of course, accused of being associated with tax evasion and loopholes, they are guilty by implication. The federal government has used this form of communication to communicate to Canadians that people engaged in small businesses across the great country of Canada who are abiding by the tax laws, many of which were made under the previous 40 years of legislative activity by various political parties at the federal level, including but not limited to Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau and others, that they would somehow be evading taxes or using loopholes is, Madam Speaker, a harsh and ill-conceived representation and demonstration of the federal government's lack of understanding of the importance of these people to our economy, and also to the great sacrifices and great contribution they make, not only for their well-being and their families' well-being, but for the well-being of their friends and neighbors. They are, in the engine of the economy, Madam Speaker, counted upon to create the lion's share of the new jobs. Some studies have said up to 90% of new jobs in our country over the next decade would be created by SMEs, or small and medium-sized enterprises. And so any bill that proposes to impact negatively on these very people we are counting on to grow our economy, these risk takers, these people who put capital at risk, must be given full consideration and not thrust forward in the interests of division or pitting one group of people, an employee group, against an employer group, for example, as the federal government appears intent on doing. Here in Manitoba, we understand, because we have Canada's most diverse economy here, we understand that we are in this together, that employers and employees must work together as part of a team to build opportunities together. We understand that and will not allow ourselves to be pitted against one another. We understand that the small meat shop down the street is where the coach of our daughter's soccer team resides, and where he and his family work very hard every day to provide services at low cost to us and to our family. We understand also that the jobs created for summer students around our communities are created by, in many cases, people who are putting capital at risk and working hard with their family in partnership with each other to create those opportunities. We understand that the hair salon down the road may have the husband not at work every day in support of his wife, but very much in support of his wife at home, doing the things that allow her to be for 12 hours of the day at the hair salon. We understand these things because we, on this side of the House, come from, many of us directly or indirectly, small business backgrounds, and we understand how important and vital it is that Manitobans and all Canadians oppose these proposed changes. How will people not involved directly as entrepreneurs pay for these changes, Madam Speaker? They will pay in many ways. They will pay with reduced job opportunities for their children and grandchildren. They will pay with higher prices for their goods and their services. And most of all, we will pay, and all provinces will pay, with the erosion of capital from our jurisdiction here in Manitoba, for example. Tens of millions of dollars will go away from Manitoba and go directly to Ottawa. Madam Speaker, the fundamental question we have to ask ourselves in terms of how we act on these proposals is this: Who do we trust to create the jobs of the future? Is it the people who take their capital or lever and borrow capital and put it at risk, or is it the people who tax those people? Fundamentally, there is no room for waffling on this issue. We on this side of the House and in this government are clearly opposed to these measures and have said so. Right. I invite other parties and independent members in this chamber to do the same. Thank you.
Here.